So this is going to be a bit of a different video on this channel from what you're used to seeing. As you guys can see, I am not hiding behind charts, but I do have something that I really want to express today in this video, and it is related to Bitcoin price action, this whole cycle, altcoins, all the things that you guys want to know. But the things that I have to say, I don't need a chart in front of me in order to tell it to you, and I want to make sure that we focus on the message of this video. So to give you a bit of context, on my last update, I think it was the last update that I did on this channel, I was going through the dominances. It was my last update actually. It was the video I did on altcoins, which I don't usually cover altcoins on this channel. I have a few reasons for that actually. I'm going to tell you why. Number one, the danger you have in talking about altcoins is that when you're a creator, you can sometimes be called a shiller. People assume that you get paid to talk about certain things, and that's why you bring it up on your channel and that you're making all this money and blah, blah, blah. And I will never and have never taken money to talk about a particular cryptocurrency. I figured early on in my creator career that if I just stuck to Bitcoin, nobody would ever accuse me of that because, you know, who's going to pay me to talk about Bitcoin? They don't need to, right? But at the same time, altcoins do provide opportunities and there are good things out there. And sometimes I do want to cover the technical analysis of altcoins, especially when there are potentially good plays, good higher time frame plays. Another reason is I personally don't really trade altcoins. Like I don't day trade them. I don't really like the high volatility. I find Bitcoin to be a lot more easier for me to chart and make money from. And there are so many different ways that you can make money just from Bitcoin alone, that there's just, for me personally, for my own personal trading, there's not a need for me to be talking or looking at other things. So I keep my charting process very simple. I look at Bitcoin and I can be in 3, 4, 5 different trades on Bitcoin at the same time. And therefore my day is really well executed because I only have to chart one thing to make money 5 different ways. That might be a whole other video. If you're interested, I can tell you about it. You know, we can make money from Bitcoin dollar cost averaging, from spot trading it, from leverage trading it, from leverage trading and settling in USDT, leverage trading and settling in Bitcoin. Like there's so many different opportunities that I'm just an efficient person. So if I can make money 5 ways by looking at one thing, I would rather do that than having to look at 20 different coins every day and trying to hunt for the best opportunity. So that's another reason why I never really covered altcoins on my show. But I also like, if it's the right part of the cycle, which is the third point, it hasn't been the right part of the cycle. And there's a chance that we will head into the right part of the cycle soon. Obviously not now, which I'll get to in a second. But I want to be there for that as well. And just know that this is my promise to you, that no one's ever going to be able to pay me to talk to you about an altcoin, because quite frankly, I don't need to make money that way. There are other people that do. I don't, because I actually have a genuine skill. And I think if you watch this channel, you know that. By the way, if you do watch this channel, be sure to hit the like button nice and early. It's going to let me know if you actually like the things that I have to say in this video. And if you like this video format where I'm not really hiding behind the charts in order to explain my thoughts. And if you're new here, welcome. Be sure to hit that subscribe button down below. Now, before I get into everything I want to say, I just want to explain my voice. I know it sounds terrible, and I thought about not doing this video, but I also just have such a strong message that I want to share with you that I'm just going to get it out. My voice is ridiculously strained. I don't know why. I'm not sick today. Like I don't have a flu or anything like that. The only thing I can put it down to is I was in someone's car the other day, and I think that person may have been a smoker, and I'm very, very, very sensitive to cigarette smoke, and I avoid it at all costs. So I think that may have affected my voice. So yeah, just forgive my horrible voice, and just try to look past it because the message today is really, really important. So what I want to talk to you about is my personal thoughts on the rest of this cycle. And I think this is the perfect opportunity to do it because Bitcoin has been rather bullish for the last, I don't know how long, couple of weeks, whatever. And people are all expecting a breakout, and they think that the way that the price action is going right now is what is going to lead us to that breakout of our current all-time high. And also that leads a lot of people to front run altcoins because they believe that that's going to have to come next. And I just have a message that I want to tell you about that. I want to share my thoughts. But before I do share my thoughts, I also have to put some disclaimers in place. Number one being, everything I'm about to say on this video might not happen. Like, I am sharing with you my opinion, and my opinion is very highly conspiracy based, okay? And this is my process. And I am really, like, if you're in my private Discord, you know how I am and you encourage it and you like it. You know that I'm very intuitive. You know that I really look at astrology. I watch so many astrologers. I don't really have a deep understanding of astrology myself as far as like studying it. It is something I would love to do one day, but I don't have the brain capacity to take that on and maintain my trading skill. So I just listen to people who are very, very good, and not even just financial astrology, like all types. I'm interested in knowing astrology to know my own personal astrology, how I can better myself. I use astrology to know where to holiday. Astrology is a big part of why I've moved to Dubai, and that has been one of the greatest decisions of my life. Like, don't click off, but I have to tell you, I'm a huge conspiracy theorist. I love astrology. I love psychics. I can binge watch psychics. Like, the amount of videos I've watched on whether or not Diddy is guilty, like that's my hidden secret, okay? And you need to forgive me for it. But I have to tell you that because a lot of what I'm going to say is related to conspiracy theories that I have a feeling about. And the way that I personally trade, which I'm letting you in on this secret for the first time. But like I said, my private TTC community, you guys know this about me and you forgive it about me. So I'm hoping everybody else who hears this for the first time forgives me too, because, I see on social media, I see your comments. You're like, 99.9% of the time, this girl's right. This girl never gets it wrong. And I have to tell you, I attribute it to what I'm about to tell you. So like I said, I study all of these things: conspiracy theorists, astrologists, psychics, everything, what they say about the world, about presidents, about world events, things that are going to happen, the economy, like all of these things I study. And then I build my own conspiracy theory based on that. And then once I have that idea, I'm looking for evidence of that in the charts. That's the truth of my trading process. I mean, look at my trading, for fuck's sake. Like, I'm the one who's talking to you about market makers. Like, and lots of other traders will be like, market makers, it's like bullshit. Like, price just does what it does. Like, I don't know, maybe market makers are bullshit. But the freaking analysis, the way that we trade is very accurate. So I don't really have a reason to stop believing that, right? It works. And if it works, I'm running with it. So that's what I have to tell you today is the conspiracy theory that I've been building in my head that has allowed me to plan for the rest of the cycle. But I also think it really does have merit to it. So let me just get through it. Your thoughts might align, they might not. And I want to hear them too. Like, let's go. You know what I mean? So here's my first thing. I said to you guys quite some time ago, we were looking for a W formation on the daily time frame back when Bitcoin dropped to 49K. I said, wait for the second side. The second side came, and then that was our entry to go long. And then we had other conditions. We had to break the daily time frame 50 EMA. We had to create a higher high from the middle peak of the W. Then we had to retest. Like, all of these things, I was always like, this is what we have to do next. This is what we have to do next. And we did all of those things. So right now we should be sitting quite pretty in our long positions, right? But I said something to you that I just want to remind you of in this video, because again, I think it's very, very important, especially because if Bitcoin happens to get to 70K or higher, that is when everyone's going to say breakout coming, we're going to 100, 250K, like blow off top phase of the cycle. And I just don't want you to lose your minds. That's the message in these videos. I just don't want you to lose your minds. I just want us to remain calm and collected and just continue to trade what we see and continue to ride trends while they're there, but also be responsible and take profit along the way, because it's the only way we're going to make money. You don't make money entering a trade. You make money closing the trade and taking your profit, right? What I said to you guys a few weeks ago, really actually quite a while ago, I was dying to turn bullish, and I was telling you guys, I really want to turn bullish, but it's not the time yet. And then when we did, I said, okay, we can now be cautiously bullish. So we're still in that phase of being cautiously bullish. And this is the message. When you follow the trading strategy that we trade on this channel, Bitcoin on the daily time frame is in its rise level 2. That should mean that if the whole 3 levels are going to play out, there is one more to come on the daily time frame. Now, oh my God, it's 444 as I'm filming this. That's an angel number, and that means that this is how I'm supposed to be doing these videos. See what I mean about conspiracy theories and just otherworldly things? Like, I'm crazy, guys. I really am crazy, but I need you to forgive me for it because I'm a good trader and I'll help you make money. So what was I going to show you? Oh, I was going to have a look at the price of Bitcoin right now. Hold on a minute. So right now, Bitcoin is $67,360. Okay. So we're all waiting, and it's in that retest. So it had a wedge, it broke out, it's in the retest phase of the wedge, being the daily time frame. That could go on for a while, but it's all good. We're all good right now. And to me, like, do I expect Bitcoin to drop from here? Unless in the absence of an economical event, like something unexpected, I'm not expecting Bitcoin to drop just yet. I do think that there is a little bit more upside. But do I think that that upside is the upside that's going to break us out of the current all-time high? At this point in time, I do not think so. Okay, and in order for me to tell you why, let me take you back to the bear market. If you're around in the bear market, you will know that many crypto analysts were all calling for 12K Bitcoin. It was like a done thing, like we're going to 12K, and everybody was waiting for 12K. Every time Bitcoin dropped, people didn't buy. You know, we had Luna, we had Celsius thing, then we had FTX thing. Now, before FTX happened, I put out a video on TikTok because I used to be a lot more active on TikTok than I was on YouTube. So I used to do really short videos on TikTok, and I put this video out. $15,600 Bitcoin is a possibility, but at this point in time, there is no evidence to show anything beyond that. So let me tell you my reasons for doing that video. You guys know I'm a liquidity trader. I show it to you on all of my videos all of the time. And I talk to you all the time about high block, and I talk to you about the yellow zone. That yellow zone was super bright yellow at 15,600. Below, it was all purple, which means no positions, right? So there was no liquidity there at the time. And this is why I kept fighting in the bear market to say, we're not going to 12K. The lowest we're going to get is 15,600. Now, what pisses me off is I ended up being right within $100 range, okay? And these people who were calling 12K are like, close enough, I called it. Like, no, you didn't. No, you didn't, okay? But whatever, that is the male ego industry that I'm in, and that's fine. The reason I tell you about that is not to say I was right. The point is, the lesson I have in that is the same as the lesson I'm telling you now when I say I don't think that what we're in right now is going to lead to a sustained breakout of the current all-time high. If I use the exact same principle and I'm looking for that highest level of liquidity, the exact same strategy that I used to pick 15,600, then what I have now, where I have that, is just a couple of $100 under 70,000. Does that mean that 70,000 is it and we're going to reverse? I think you have to layer that into the timing as well. We have the election coming up. And remember, I said to you on a couple of updates ago, I said to you, any bullish move prior to the election, I think is a false pump into the election. Now, that doesn't mean I think we're going to continue pumping into it. We will either fall short right before it, which I think is highly likely, because people will take profit because they don't want to be part of, they will want to just sit out and wait and see what happens before they get back involved. So just be prepared to take profits before the election if we look like we're topping out regardless of the price. So that's number one. Number two is at the election, like, could bring a lot of volatility. And look, the votes get counted, like, can take weeks. So it's not like on the 5th of November, we're going to have an answer, which is another conspiracy theory I'm going to talk to you about. And then the final one is after, right? So there's a chance that we could sell off after. Even if that were to happen, it could be that we pump, then sell off after. So, you know, just bring in that final last late longs, trap them, and then do a big potential reversal. I mean, of course, the trend could continue as well. And that's why I'm saying this whole video is bullshit, because it's just my opinion and I'm just sharing my opinion, and don't hold me to any of this because I don't have evidence. I'm just telling you what I see now. that, combined with my conspiracy theories, has helped me build an idea, but that idea is helping me remain rational when everybody else is about to start calling 100, 200K Bitcoin, okay? So right now what I see is that same amount of liquidity that was at 15,600 is at around 70,000. Just a little bit under, a couple $100 under. So don't wait for exactly 70. That's always a trap. We do have liquidity above that currently. And the only thing that I'm waiting for right now is for Bitcoin to tap into that 70K and then see if new positions open, which I think there is a high chance of that because the all-time high is at like 73. So people are naturally going to short the all-time high. And in shorting that, they open up liquidation levels. Okay, that's how it works. So and there's a lot of resistances between 70 to 73. So all of those resistances along the way are going to be new people building short positions, and that's going to open new liquidity. So what I can't tell you now, because unfortunately I'm not psychic, even though it's a dream that I was, I can't tell you if new liquidity that doesn't exist today is going to build between where price is now and us hitting 70, 71, 72, 70. I can't tell you. So my opinion on what I'm saying may change if that happens to build, if we break 70K, right? So my first obstacle is see what happens just under 70K. And so that's my first thing. If there is some above it, as I said, but it's not the bright yellow zone. So that tells me just be very, very careful, because when I combine that with how I count the levels, like I said to you earlier, we are clearly have done a level 1 and a level 2 rise on the daily time frame, and we are consolidating before what we will expect to be a level 3 rise, which of course it could fail. Like, we may not get it at all, and that is what I'll be looking for as the market opens this week. But if we get it, if this current consolidation turns out to look like a bit of a flag formation, I will expect that we're building a flag before we do that final level 3, and then I'll be reassessing it around 70K, what happens. And I would expect that if all of that were to happen, it would be prior to the election. And that could be the final run-up to trap everyone before the election, because right now what is happening, some of the polls are 50-50, some of them are very heavily weighted towards Trump. So of course it makes logical sense that we are bullish on Bitcoin currently because we think Trump endorses crypto, which is freaking stupid as well. Like, if anyone thinks that just because he turned up at that Bitcoin conference that he actually gives a shit about crypto, like, I don't know, I'm sorry, but I think that's naive and stupid. Like, listen to the man. I'm a woman, so I'm very intuitive, and I am able to really read what is going on in body language and know what is happening behind the words. That man turned up just to earn brownie points. He doesn't freaking care about crypto. He's not against it, he's not for it, but he literally finished our conference going, have fun playing with your Bitcoins, like you little stupid children. Like, how come nobody noticed that? It was so patronizing. Like, have fun playing with your Bitcoins. Like, who says that? You know, so the guy was just earning brownie points. And yeah, he'll probably be better for crypto than Kamala would, but I don't think it's not on his agenda to, like, whatever the fuck you think he's going to do in relation to crypto, it's not on his agenda to do that first. The man has to deal with the economy. He has to deal with a war. Like, dude, do you think he cares about your Bitcoins? He doesn't, right? He doesn't. So nothing's going to happen immediately, like nothing. And so that's why I think this whole pump is a fake pump leading into it on the assumption that Trump is going to win, because some of these polls are really like showing that it's very heavily weighted towards Trump winning. And I think we're being naive. And this is why I'm trying to tell you, just trade what you see and make sure prior to the election that you are taking profits along the way. And also, don't go too heavy on your altcoins yet. I posted a chart on my Twitter. I actually even covered it on the altcoin video that I did on this channel. But by the way, guys, please follow me on Twitter. If you're only following me on YouTube, you don't get as many updates as that I put out there on social media. It's very easy for me to just post a chart on Twitter and give you a heads up, but there are millions of fake accounts of me on every social media. So just make sure you use the link in the description of this video to get my real Twitter account and follow me there, because people are like, do more videos. But sometimes I'm like, guys, I travel a lot. I'm a business owner. I am a trader, you know, I have a big team to manage. I have another business as well, which is completely like unrelated to this one. Like, I'm doing a lot all the time, and I'd love to be able to just be doing videos all day, but I'm not a content creator first. Okay, I'm a business owner first. I'm a trader second. And the only reason I say second is because it doesn't take much of my time. And I'm a content creator actually last. I'm very uncomfortable considering myself a content creator, but I try my hardest to give you a heads up on things that are important. And I tend to do content when I've got something really important to say, as opposed to daily content that will waste your time, right? So I hope that you appreciate that every time I put out a video, it's something I think you probably want to hear. If it is, then this is the channel to subscribe to if you haven't already. Obviously, the information I give goes out to my private community first, and then it ends up on my social media. The point being, I put out a tweet about the others dominance chart, and I showed how it had created a W formation. It was flagging, and that should be good. But what was worrying me was that within the flag, we had created a lower high, and that usually leads to a breakdown. And if it did, then generally your alts are not going to be okay. Of course, there's going to be some survivors that are like just everybody wants, they're really bullish, they're outperforming Solana, Aptos, you know, things like that. Like, of course, those are okay. But for the ones that no one's really talking about, or that are super low liquidity, like if that lower high ended up leading to a breakdown of the flag, you're gonna really be in a lot of trouble. And that is what ended up happening. Like, less than 24 hours after I posted that chart, we had a big breakdown of the others dominance. So the point being, I've told you this all the time, chart your altcoins against Bitcoin. And if they're not bullish against Bitcoin and you have limited funds, just keep your money in Bitcoin. You know, right now, especially when the Bitcoin price is bullish and Bitcoin dominance is bullish, if you have limited funds, you're better off having those funds just in Bitcoin, just for now, until you see your altcoins bottom out, which could happen very soon, but it's just not happening now on most of them, right? So you have to do that first before you start to rotate money. So my point being, now let's layer everything together that I've just told you. If I'm expecting Bitcoin to break out and have another level rise, you might think, well, hang on, doesn't everything just go together? Like, won't my altcoins fly as well? Maybe, maybe not, because they don't always just go together. You have to have the combination of Bitcoin price, Bitcoin dominance, and then look at your altcoin dominance and the actual altcoin that you like against Bitcoin. So let's just say you liked Solana. You have to look at 𝗧𝗿𝗃𝗃 chart, okay? And only if that is bullish would you then rotate funds into Solana. What can happen that would cause Bitcoin to break out and remain bullish but not your altcoins has to do with the dominance. So if Bitcoin price is bullish and Bitcoin dominance is bullish, then the price of your altcoins will actually decrease. So that's why you might be wondering, hang on, but Bitcoin's flying. Like, why aren't my altcoins flying? Like, why do they keep dropping? Why am I losing money? It's because of the combination of Bitcoin price and Bitcoin dominance. Now, here's the thing. If Bitcoin dominance keeps rising, but the Bitcoin price reverses and starts heading down, your altcoins are going to dump even further. And that could lead to the final altcoin. Well, I say final because I think it will be the final based on timing, but it may not be the final. Like, the final could lead to another final, right? Again, everything I'm saying in this video is bullshit. Don't believe it. It is what it is. If it works out, it's pure luck. Don't say she's right 99% of the time. Like, it's luck, because this is based on conspiracy theory. That could lead to a hopefully final altcoin capitulation. And that could end up being what then turns into alt season. But that could be like at the end of the year. It could be next year. Who knows? But you have to, again, layer it in with the timing. Like, is it likely that we're going to have a sustained alt season before the election? No. We could have a fake pump, surely. But why would we have a sustained alt season before the election? The markets don't like uncertainty. And before the election, what do we have? Uncertainty. We don't know who's going to win. Like, it's not a done deal, you know? So again, that's why I said to you, there's a good chance people with big money will de-risk closer to the election, but prior to it. And so be very careful, be on the hunt for that. Take that as your hint to de-risk as well, you know? And so therefore, that is why I'm not super heavy in altcoins right now, because mind you, I'm studying altcoins like crazy right now. Like I have a altcoin portfolio that we do for the Capital Club members. It's about 25 coins in that. And I chart them all once a week. I go through and see if it's time to buy anything or not. I chart them against Bitcoin, USDT. I look at the dominances and I make my decision based off that. And I send the signal to my Capital Club members to let them know what I'm doing, whether I'm buying, selling, or just doing nothing. And doing that homework really shows me that there are only a few outliers right now that are actually doing anything positive. The rest are either a waiting game or they're still freaking bearish. You know, there isn't much that I feel like putting money into right now, but I do think the end is close. And so let me now tell you where my thoughts on the election come in. And this is where the big conspiracy theory comes in. Like I said to you, I watch a lot of astrologers. Some are financial astrologers, some are whatever, just they talk about anything. Right now in the world of astrology, it's a very mixed thing. Some astrologers think Kamala's going to win, some think Trump, and really, like, I've never seen so much confusion amongst so many different astrologers. Like, usually you can get a few different opinions and they're kind of the same, but this is really conflicted. The only thing that they are all consistent on right now is a delayed election. Now, I have an economist in my Discord as well that helps out my private community, and he helps to explain things to do with the economy, with the events that we talk about on this channel, the news events, like what they actually mean, what we should be looking out for. He does private Zooms for them once a fortnight, and he also does written economic updates, right? So if you're interested in all that sort of stuff, he's the man that we turn to in our Discord. And I've been trying to work it out with him because I'm like, there's going to be a delay in this election. What would do it? And so he's, you know, come back and said like all the reasons, like what it would take to delay an election, and that doesn't happen. Okay. Like it's just rare that would happen. So it's not likely. And it could just be a delay in counting votes, whatever. Anyway, I finally think I figured it out. And here's my thing. I have a very strong feeling that there is going to be a delay in the election. We couldn't find a reason that would justify that until the other day. And what that reason is, there's going to be a contingent election. And let me just read to you what that is. A candidate needs a majority, at least 270 electoral votes. If there are more than two candidates and no one hits 270, that triggers a contingent election, a fallback process created by the 12th Amendment, where the House of Representatives selects a president and the Senate selects a vice president. And there's an additional oddity. Rather than voting individually, House members vote as state delegations. Each state delegation gets a single vote, and a candidate becomes president with the support of a majority, 26, of state delegations. If no candidate wins the 26 state delegations by January 20, which is an important date, then the vice president-elect becomes the acting president. And if the Senate fails to select a vice president, then under the 20th Amendment and the Presidential Succession Act of 1947, the next eligible person in the presidential line of succession, potentially the Speaker of the House, becomes the acting president. So I said to you, remember January 20th. So these astrologers are saying that Trump's astrology in January is not good. Okay, so that the people who think Kamala's going to win, they say Trump's astrology in January is not good. Another one that I listened to said that they think he will win, but they will refuse to inaugurate him, and the inauguration happens in January. So my conspiracy theory is, I think we're going to have a contingent election. Things are going to get delayed, but I think in that period where it gets delayed, people are going to believe Trump has it in the bag. Like it might be that both sides don't get enough votes, but Trump was ahead of Kamala. Something like that. Again, I'm making up bullshit. You do what you want with these thoughts. But I think people think he's going to have it in the bag. And therefore they are going to think that's great for crypto. So here's what I think that means for altcoins. I think, like I said to you, right now the market hates uncertainty, and uncertainty comes prior to the election when you don't know who's going to win. So I think right now we're riding the wave and we're pushing to the upside because the polls tell us Trump's got it in the bag. When it comes closer to the election, people are going to take profit because they want to de-risk. And then we'll have a waiting period. There'll be the votes. There'll be something that delays the votes, whether it's this, whether I'm right about this or it's something I don't know. And then in that period that the votes are delayed, we're going to think that Trump has it in the bag. That's going to trigger alt season. And the reason I say that is because my good friend 𝗟𝗶𝗃𝗵, you might know him on Twitter. I think he also has a YouTube channel. He doesn't post on there much, but definitely on Twitter. In a private conversation, let me find it actually. We were talking about TA and he said, I have an interesting astrology signal for ETH rally December, Jan, Feb, whilst Bitcoin is unfavorable. Can you think of a scenario that would do that? BTC is more unfavorable Jan, Feb, but ETH is more favorable. And that also went for Solana. So that's why I think there's a possibility if Bitcoin is unfavorable, like it might, unfavorable can just be sideways. It doesn't necessarily mean Bitcoin dumps, but it's possible that Bitcoin gets to that 60% dominance. It goes flat. Altcoins have their rally, so we get our Christmas rally. We get it in maybe into January, potentially February if we can push it out that long. And then we find out who the actual president is, and then that's it. We have the epic dump if it's not great. That's my theory. And of course, this theory will 100% change if the price action tells me this ain't it. So price action always comes first to me, but I use this just to build a plan, and then I wait and I wait for the price to tell me my plan is right. So that's why I say to you, I'm happy to ride this wave whilst I see that there should be a rise level 3 on the daily time frame coming. And I will believe that until there is an M formation that shows me level 2 is the best we're going to get. It has to also do with timing. I'm not going to bank on a rise level 3 if we don't get it and it's now November 5th. Do you know what I mean? I'm going to de-risk before that. So it's not just the price, it's the price and the timing. If we get that and Bitcoin doesn't do an epic dump and it's like just stable and it just hits a level and it hangs out there, and my alt BTC pairs start to look like they're flattened out, like they've really hit the lowest they're going to go, and they're starting to show me a structural change. And prior to December, post-election, only then will I go heavier in altcoins and expect to ride that into January, potentially February if it's remaining bullish, but I'm riding it into those months and taking profit along the way. I'm not riding it for the next year. I don't know, and I don't have confidence that we will get to March. Okay, so for me, I think my other this isn't a conspiracy theory, this is just an opinion, but my other opinion about altcoins is not everything can pump together this cycle. This cycle is different in the way that I think this cycle you have to be so much smarter about the things you invest in comparison to prior cycles where it didn't matter so much. And my reason for thinking that comes down to absolute simple math, and that is, think about it this way. In the last cycle, there were 200,000 altcoins. This cycle, there are 2 million, more than 2 million altcoins. So in order for every single one of your altcoins to pump, regardless of what you buy, we would need a 10x in liquidity because we have a 10x in altcoins from the last cycle. Is that likely? Like that, it's an impossible mathematical equation. It's not going to happen. We are not going to get 10x the liquidity in alt season. That's just not going to happen. So therefore, that's why I say you have to in this cycle. And even like I'm guilty of this because I have always been a pure price action trader and I've never really delved into the fundamentals of altcoins. And that's why like a couple of months ago, I bought in a trader, a friend of mine, a trader here in Dubai. I brought him in also to manage my Capital Club members and teach them fundamentally about altcoins. And in doing that, I also learn. So he helps me with the altcoin shows that we're going to do on this channel that I did last week. And I'm learning as I'm talking about these coins as well. But I have learned that I also have to up my game, because I can't just buy anything based on price action in this cycle. I have to know what I'm doing. And that is simply because 2 million altcoins aren't going to pump at the same time. And what I think is going to happen instead, if this cycle lasts beyond March, which again, the reason I'm uncertain is because some astrologers say okay, some say no. Also, when you look at the timing, the cycle should last into like October next year. But we've got so many problems in the world right now that we just don't know. So for me, I think at this point in time that this cycle is going to have multiple altcoin cycles, not just one. And I think we've already done that. You know, like look at Solana, for example. That took off very, very early. And there's a few other things like that. Like I invested in some things like back when Bitcoin was, you know, under 20K, under 17K, and they did like 1,000% back then, but nothing else really did, you know? And so that was the first altcoin cycle of this cycle, or alt season, I should say, of this cycle. And then there was the meme coin one, which I didn't really get involved in, but meme coins had their go. Now there's going to be some narrative for December to Feb. You know, it might be the large caps. It might be that we actually do rotate into ETH. I don't know. Maybe not. I'm not giving up on it yet. And maybe that's the large caps. Like I don't know what it's going to be. And then finally, if this cycle lasts beyond March, like I think I'm banking on a big sell-off in March. And I'm only doing that so that I remain level-headed and I do take my altcoin profits. If I end up getting in because the signals are there, then that's how I'm going to remain level-headed. And I'm just going to sit that out. And so if we do have an epic pullback, then that is when I will assess the charts and what is happening in the world at the time. And I will make my decision then as to whether or not I think the cycle is going to continue beyond March. And if it is, I will then build a new altcoin portfolio for what I think is going to be the thing that makes, or the next narrative, let's say. And I will ride that one. And it may be that there's another 2 alt seasons coming. Like, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Like, those are the things that we're going to have to see when time gets a little bit closer. But I'm just telling you my plan and how I've built this plan, and it's there. But of course, I will make adjustments along the way if the charts tell me to do something different. So that's really my conspiracy theory. I wanted to share it with you because people have been asking me on Twitter to share my thoughts about Bitcoin's price as well as alt season. And I just wanted to get everything out. And I know I'm just seeing if there's anything else that I haven't talked about. Oh, I think one other thing too is, you know, with my videos, is an announcement that I want to tell you. I kind of like this format, so I hope you do. So just tell me if you're happy, for me to do maybe a video a week that I'm just spewing my thoughts without hiding behind charts, then let me know. And it might not even be on that. I can, whatever. I've got a lot of shit to share. But I have stopped doing my Sunday market open videos. You've probably noticed I've moved them to Monday. The reason for that is because if we do enter this next phase of the cycle, the false move week beginning is going to be less relevant. I still do share those charts in my Discord for my private members. So if you want that information on Sundays, you do have to become a member. And I mean, dude, if you've been watching me for a while, what are you waiting for? But anyway, I will do my chart updates from the private community. But as far as videos, I'm going to do them on Mondays because that allows me a 2-day weekend. And with my own personal health issues, I really need rest. If I'm able to play full out during the week, I have to rest as well. I am human. So I'm moving them to Monday so that I can have the 2-day Saturday, Sunday rest. And then we're going to do an altcoin video a week. That may not happen every week because if the altcoins are just bare, I'm not going to be telling you to buy things if I just think it's a bad time to buy. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not chasing views. I just want to be honest with you, and I just want to help you make money. So if a video doesn't come out, it's because I've got nothing important to tell you. That's it. And then I do a midweek reversal. Now, I've also got somebody else that's going to be joining me on the channel. I've got one of my team members that has been in my Discord for years. She's a freaking legend. She's an amazing trader. Actually, all of the traders in my Discord are amazing. Like, they started with me. They know this process. They know the exact same trading strategy as me. They are me. Like, in fact, I had a meeting with one of them the other day, and I was like, "You're me." You know, like our thoughts are the same. We could both post a chart at the exact same time, and our thoughts are the same. So I have amazing trading legends in the Discord that are doing updates 3 times a day. So, you know, if you're like waiting for my updates on YouTube and you're only getting them once a week and you're annoyed at that, like, the alpha's there, you know, the alpha's there in the private community. Like, at what point, you know, at what point are you just going to bite the bullet? But I also understand times are tough, and you may love to be part of the community, and money may be an issue. Anyway, this isn't a shill about joining the private community. This is just, I just wanted to tell you the new process. So the new trader's going to come on the channel, and she's actually going to take us back to the beginning of the method. So she's going to start breaking down the very basics, because I had a lot of new subscribers lately, and I understand you're probably watching my TA and you're probably like, what does she mean, board meeting? You know? And to me, it just rolls off my tongue because what I talk about all the time. And if you've been watching this channel for a while, then you also know what it means. But if you've only been watching us for, like, this is your second video, then you might be like, I don't know, I don't understand these terms that she's talking about. So Janet is coming on, and she's going to start doing those videos once a week. And, you know, things like, just things for beginners, exchange tutorials, you know, how to place trades, how to, like, mark your charts properly, what the certain indicators mean that we use on this channel, what is a level 1 right, you know, just all that kind of stuff. So even if you have been watching this channel for a while and you picked it up, going back to the basics is amazing, always, you know, and you will always pick up something that you know, may have either forgotten or never picked up the first time you learned. So that's the process. That's the plan. I've got so many other things as well, but I might save it for another video where my voice doesn't sound like this. Anyway, I appreciate you allowing me to share my thoughts, and I'm interested to know what your thoughts are. Don't tell me I'm a fuckwit in the comments. Like, I know I'm a fuckwit, okay? But I just wanted to share it, because what if it happens and I didn't share it, and you know, I don't know, you didn't sell your altcoins in time. Like, I don't know. So anyway, that's it. Bye.